welcome to UFO Headline News with me, Heidi Hollis, where every day I aim to bring you the latest in UFO reports and other fascinating stories from around the globe. Today is Wednesday, February 7th, 2018, and on Fridays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, join me for my talk show, The Outlander, where I answer your emails, take your calls, and interview some intriguing guests. Just go to irnchat.com to chat, interact, and listen live to The Outlander show, and go to HeidiHollis.com for more information. Blasting off with UFO reports. Well, we've got a black triangle sighting in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This occurred January 22nd, 2018, and shimmering triangle with hard edges, patterns tiled slowly forward, then twinkled brightly and vanished. In more details, the witness states, I was in my car after lunch and happened to glance south from the election board parking lot. Sounds important. It was partially cloudy with swift moving and changing clouds. Between two of them, there was a set of two bar-looking objects that were reflecting like a prism. Over a few seconds, they appeared to tilt from about a 45-degree angle to horizontal to the ground, pointed straight towards me after it went horizontal. As they flattened out, I could see two similar attached branching pieces flaring behind these to the south. It was a triangle, equilateral. It was only tilting towards me for a couple of seconds. I could see more detail in the piece that was pointed my way. The whole thing was shimmering. Kind of like the Predator in the Predator movies. Oh, I've seen a UFO like that. But if it was standing in front of a blue sky with the sun about 15 to 20 degrees off of him and behind. You could see the outline, but other than the two parallel bar shapes in the point facing me, there wasn't much that was more than a strong shimmer. Like light being bent around something roughly triangular. The bars I had first seen looked like panels on the underside, or at least panel-shaped zones of reflection. After a few seconds of it being still, I reached into my glove box for my binoculars and tried to get into the frame. But the angle of the sun was too close and the sky was way too bright. I quickly pulled them back down and the first thing flashed brightly and was gone. The bright flash appeared to come from the base of the two bars near the center of the thing, not from the end of the bars where I could see the most detail. The only thing was about the width of two fingers held 1.5 inches apart at arm's length. It was between two clouds, so I couldn't tell if it was in front of them or behind. It appeared to be completely stationary, despite the rapid movement of the clouds that day. I looked for a long time after it vanished, but as cloudy as it was, it could have still been there and not visible. I think I only saw it because of the gap in the clouds and the angle of the sun, which was kind of behind it. I've seen something like that, guys. It is really trippy to see something that's kind of like the Predator with that kind of like the background is being distorted type of thing. Really weird. And I had a bunch of witnesses. It was wild. Okay, moving on. UFO sighting in Washington, District of Columbia. This occurred November 22nd, 2017. Leaving my daughter's house in D.C. to go to Reagan International around 8 a.m. As I was approaching the car parked in her backyard, I looked up to see a metallic form hovering soundlessly. In the last frame, you can see a jet approach at a higher altitude. In more detail, I was leaving my daughter's home in Washington, D.C. to go to the Reagan International Airport to catch my plane to return to Wheatland, Pennsylvania. It was between 7 or 8 a.m., right before Thanksgiving 2017. I had just visited my daughter and cared for my grandson because he had the flu and his dad had taken his mom on a trip to China because my daughter had to work. So my son-in-law, me, and his mom were walking out to his car parked in the back because she was leaving for New York City the same day I was going home, too. As he was putting the luggage in the car, I happened to hear a jet approaching and looked up because you never know what kind of flyer you will see going around D.C. Before I spotted the jet, which I could hear clearly, I see the metal crap just hovering over us, pretty high up, not making a sound. I can't tell what it is because it's silent and it seemed to be changing or like morphing, but it seemed solid. Coming in from my right is the jet I could clearly hear, even though it was a lot higher up than the other craft. I didn't say anything to my son-in-law or his mom because he would have made me feel like a kook, and his mother wouldn't have had a clue. So I start taking as many pictures as I can before I have to get in the car. My son-in-law prides himself on his knowledge of anything that flies. So when I showed him the pictures I took, and since he knows his backyard, assumed it had to be a helicopter. But if it was where he thought it would had been so loud he would have noticed it at the time. In the last picture I took, you can see the jet coming into frame in the top far right. You can judge the size when the jet appears. I was hoping you guys could be able to zoom in better than I could to tell what it was. I've had many pictures with UFOs, and it's usually with people who are the biggest skeptics. What? That's a weird way. I am very close, as the bird flies, to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I would be very interested in what you think I caught on camera. All right, so I'm taking a look over at these pictures, and oh, it looks like a flying pill in the sky. That is really interesting. Looks like you got something there. That's a little odd. I don't see any wings, and it's just kind of hanging out in the sky reflecting. Moving on to the next UFO sighting in Evansville, Indiana. This occurred January 27th, 2018. Had a close encounter with 4 separate pairs of UFOs flying by in close proximity. In more detail, shortly after dark, I took a ride with a friend to go look at some newborn puppies. Oh, puppies are I could just smell their little breath already. We were cruising along, and my friend and I couldn't believe our eyes as the first pair zoomed past just above the tree line, followed by 3 more sets of 2. They were very bright and didn't make any noise whatsoever. It was amazing how fast they were moving from horizon to horizon in around a minute. After the last pair passed, a couple of minutes passed, then a jet fighter blew by at low altitude. It was really moving and loud, traveling in the same general direction the UFOs were traveling in. It's the kind of experience I don't think I'll ever be able to forget anytime soon, if ever. Yeah. Why do you guys see this pattern all the time? It's like UFO, boom, jet, boom. So if these are all just our people experimenting with craft, what did they lose them? I mean, somebody stole it, so they have to chase it down. They are constantly chasing UFOs. And yeah, they're able to shoot them down now. Why do you think they're shooting them down? They like to steal them. Steal them. Are they a threat because they're there? They're just doing what they've been doing for centuries. Now we try to shoot them down because we want new parts because the ones that we stole are probably wearing down. That's my theory. Anyways, all right, moving on. UFO sighting in Colorado Springs, Colorado. This occurred slightly UFO blast from the past, January 14th, 2016. Strange metallic cube, jolting across sky. The Borg are here. In more detail, the witness states, I was sitting in my car. Oh, I'm sorry. Sitting in my chair. next to the bay window around 7:30 a.m. drinking coffee. I noticed a reflection out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look and noticed a shiny metallic cube dancing in the sky. It was like nothing I have ever witnessed before. I was strangely nervous but wanted a better look. I grabbed my phone and headed out to my front porch. It was dancing in the sky very quickly from one side to side. It took me a minute to find it on my phone. Finally, I found it as it was hovering. It moved extremely quick from one side to side, much faster than anything I have ever witnessed. Then it would stop and hover for a short amount of time, then back to rapidly jolting side to side. I'm not sure how long it was there before I noticed it, but I managed to film it for a little under 2 minutes. A final quick movement, and it was gone. Completely gone. I went back inside and honestly was in a bit of shock. I continued to look in the sky for it, but never have witnessed it again. After the initial shock wore off, I thought to myself, perhaps it was a drone. Logic tells me that is not possible. It was square in shape and completely metallic in color. I have never seen a complete square drone. Also, it moved way too fast to be a drone. I would have most definitely witnessed it moving off into the distance or land. It was gone in a flash. I absolutely believe in ETs, but also am a skeptic about false reports. Okay, hold on. I'm confused. Okay. I will maintain for my life what I witnessed was not of this earth. And that's coming from a skeptic of something, guys. So I'm having a look at this video and holy cannoli. It's a cube in the sky tumbling through the sky. It may even be, when you put two pyramids bottoms flat together and it's kind of like a diamond kind of tumbling in the sky. I've seen something like that before too, and it looks like it's tumbling. They called it dancing. It's wow. It's a pretty cool video. You have to check it out. You do see it's kind of cubish. It's kind of cubish. Next up, UFO sighting in Prairie City, Iowa. This occurred January 29th, 2018. It looked kind of like a marshmallow that was a ball of light. That's an interesting description. In more detail, the witness states, my son, a friend of mine, and I noticed an object that looked like a marshmallow. It was moving from west to east when we first noticed it, then it just stopped and hovered. We watched it for about an hour. It was about 60 degrees, and it's a normal route for planes that are flying into the Des Moines airport. And it seemed quite a bit higher than the planes on their descent. I contacted my work, which is about 6 blocks away to the north. They said they couldn't see the one I was talking about, but they seen an object that was almost directly overhead and described an object similar to the one we were looking at the time. We went and got binoculars to get a closer look. Seeing through them, we noticed it was changing shape. Looked like it was vibrating, and the outer edge was a light green color, but wasn't staying green. We stopped a guy riding on a bike and pointed it out to him just to make sure we weren't seeing things, and he thought it was very odd. Later that night, after my friend went home, he called and said he looked around and counted around 10 objects like it, but they had changed to a light pink in the morning. The man who rode by on the bike said he spotted 2 more to the north last night and noticed one above his neighbor's house around 6:30 a.m., January 30th, 2018. Don't you guys feel like it's just becoming to the point like so many people are witnessing them. They're getting so ballsy about just showing up. It's like they're just getting ready to be like, okay, guys, this is going to be happening on the regular and get used to us. We're going to move in and we'll be your neighbors and the mystery will be gone. I just feel like it's just going to become, casual talk about the latest jalopy or old car out there. And yep, got a cool ship. You like it? I mean, I don't know. This is just.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Okay, time out. You're gonna let your budget be the boss of you? Take control with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Tell us what you want to pay for car insurance, and we'll help you find options that fit your budget. Here's some music to get you pumped. Da-dong, 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 dang, dang. I hear your budget laughing at you. Oh, wait, that's just those kids laughing at me. Ignore them! Da-dong, da-dong,
Progressive
da-dong.
Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Me. All right. Ooh, boy, this is a name. Alrighty. This next UFO report. UFO sighting in Den Haag, Zoo, Holland. It's occurred December 31st, 2013. Holland. That's interesting. I was in my room and saw strange lights in the sky. Green, yellow, and red. Got my binoculars, and it was a strange black object. Okay, in more detail, they say, I was in my room getting ready to celebrate New Year's when I noticed an object moving slowly about 400 feet away. It seemed to be flashing 3 different lights, green, red, and yellow. I first thought it was just a helicopter, but at close inspection with my binoculars, I noticed that the object was blimp-like and completely dark. The object continued to move at the same direction at a steady speed. At that point, I got a bit nervous and pulled out my phone to record the strange incident. After around 3 minutes, I lost the sight of the object due to my viewing angle. After around 5 minutes or so, a Dutch fighter jet passed overhead. Quite scary. Okay, hold on. The Dutch are chasing the UFOs too? Wow, they're using our crazy tactic. Okay, interesting. Maybe they felt threatened. You know, Holland is always on alert, right? That's so bizarre. So, has anybody heard of disclosure from Holland lately about UFOs? I don't think they'd come forward. They're chasing UFOs, everybody. Point the finger and get them to confess. Maybe they're a little bit more open than our government with their little disclosure of $22 million over 5 years of investigating UFOs, saying we're not alone. Okay. They know they've been doing it for generations. Okay, moving on. This next UFO sighting happened in Hampton, New Brunswick. This occurred December 20th, 2017. Saw it out my driver's side window while driving. In more detail, the witness states, I was driving home from work on December 20th, 2017. It had finished, I think they mean I had finished work at 4:30, and it is about an hour's drive, give or take depending on road conditions and traffic, to Parents' Place where I was staying for the month of December. It was somewhere between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. I was about 2 minutes away from my parents' house, and out of the corner of my eye, through some thin treetops, I saw a bright blue-white oval-shaped object high in the sky. My initial thought was that it was an airplane, but the brightness and shape of it made me do an immediate double take. Really? D-U-E? Okay. Double take a half a second after my initial thought. As I looked back up at it, it was moving just beyond the thin tree tops that were preventing me from getting a fully clear view of it. It's not that the object was at treetop height. It was much higher. But at the angle I was viewing it, the tops of the trees nearest the road side somewhat blocked it. At this point I had a clear view of it, and in my amazement, I slowed the car to an almost complete stop in the middle of the road. I watched it as it looked like it was traveling south at about the speed of a passenger plane you would see in the sky. Then, in a split second, it zipped away southeast at an impossible speed, over the hills on the horizon and out of sight. It left a brief trail as it zipped away. I can't even say that it accelerated. It simply changed speeds in an instant. All right. The next UFO sighting. In Mims, really? Mims, Florida? I guess that's a place. I don't know. Footprint left in soil. Oh, it's going to be an interesting one. Okay, in more detail. Witness states, I was walking the property of my farm, as I always do, just to check to make sure everything is okay. As I made my way up the dirt, I couldn't help but notice a deep indentation in the mud that was not there the day before, or before I turned in for the night. It was the shape of a small foot sunken into the fresh mud from the evening rain. I think it was some kind of print from a flexible boot. It measured about 7 inches in length and at its widest point, what would be the ball of the foot, 3 inches. I was taken aback, almost like an excitement of shock. You see, we have no small children on our farmland, and I don't think a very small child would come in the middle of the night on dark farmland during heavy rain showers. Let me think about that. Here in Chicago, kids run the street all the time. Anyways, I also know for certain it is not an animal track. Within the print, you can see the edges are 100% smooth. Edge of boot. What would be the sole? One can see like one solid marking from heel to toe, as a curve, as like your gym shoe along the side, and it also has lines almost like a strange traction. Immediately, I called my wife out. We began to take photos and videos. We then went to a hobby store and bought plaster cast material. Wow, you guys are serious. That's pretty cool. I was able to, this is interesting. I was able to pull a mold of the print. The ball of the foot arch and heel is able to be easily seen, almost as if it was a highly flexible boot or something. We are located very, very close to the Kennedy Space Center and launch pads. You guys notice this? It just always is happening. They're near some kind of, military installment or airport all the time. Okay. A lot is seen and heard in these skies, and I have never thought twice. But with this print, we have an uneasy feeling. I feel certain the print is from something we have not seen on this earth. We definitely are cautious on our farmland at night now. They're watching you. Okay. So you guys, I click over to see this fantastic description of a footprint and a cast. And I'm seeing this pattern like, anything that seems really good or really fascinating, it's just not being released to the public. Is this a MUFON thing? Because I've heard some complaints. Because this is a report to MUFON. I click over there. It is not there. No picture, no video. So this person went through all this trouble to pull all this stuff together. And I guess the report slipped through the cracks because they probably wanted to censor that. And, yeah, so they kept it for themselves. Yeah, MUFON, thanks for that. I was excited for this one. I was really excited. But you filtered that. Somebody from the public gave you a heads up on something cool and you kept it to yourself. Right? Is that what happened? As I have never heard of such a thing. And apparently you haven't either. So you thought, mine! Not fair, not fun, not funny. I'm really disappointed. So, person that experienced this, I hope you hear me and you release that to the public for real, because MUFON apparently, I go there every once in a while and I was just tired of getting disappointed to see the awesome photos. And there's tags, photos, video, as a tag to their story. You go to click and it's not there. Why is that? That's not cool. Not cool at all. Highly disappointed. Oh, that one makes me angry. Oh, okay. You guys complain to the MUFON masters, please. All right, moving on. The next UFO report. UFO sighting in Netherlands, Texas. Didn't know there's a Netherlands. Okay. This happened January 24th, 2018. Orbs and winged entities zipping and dashing all around. Objects are crystal clear when watched frame by frame. If I click over there and that's missing too, I'm done. My sighting is actually multiple sightings. I live near an airport, so planes are a given, but what I can only describe as huge winged and sometimes orb-shaped entities are always flying and hovering over my neighborhood. I see them when I go back through my sky watching videos, and it's incredible. Some things you just have to see to believe. Please contact me if interested. MUFON was recommended to me by a friend because of some pictures I have already shared on our Netherlands homepage. I would really like to know what's going on. Can you guys help me? Thanks for your time. Okay, I'm going to click over. All right, so I clicked over and that one is there. But it's one of those really distant ones where it's hard to make out anything. Yeah, so they let that one go through, I guess. I don't know. Yay. Yay. Okay, anyways, moving on. Oh, I really want to see that boot. Man, I want to see that boot print. All right. UFO sighting in Hamel, Illinois. This occurred on January 27, 2018. Driving south on I-55 at sunset, saw a dark, structured object apparently about cloud height hovering in the southwest. I was driving on I-55 and saw an object with apparent structure hovering during sunset. I do not know the towns near St. Louis well, but Google Maps showed me just south of Hamel, Illinois, and the object appeared to be hovering over a city. It appeared to be hovering to the south when I first saw it, then moved a little to the southwest. I suspect that if I had been several miles to the south when viewing the object, I would have been able to see it very clearly. It did not seem to move much, if at all, and only disappeared as I approached because of sunset. In the sky, there were a number of long, transparent clouds moved to the west. I wondered if this apparent object was a cloud, because it felt like it was approximately at the same altitude, but it was much darker and well defined. Once it was completely dark, I noted several planes. These seemed much smaller in the sky than what I had been observing. At the moment, I was simply reflecting on my life and looking forward to seeing my girlfriend in Columbia, Missouri. All I felt upon seeing the object was a sense that it was something unusual, but I don't remember thinking anything else. Alrighty. That was interesting. Moving on to a quick paranormal point of a story. How about that? Bigfoot camping story. Yes, we're going to hit Bigfoot. It was the summer of 2015, and I was in the 12th grade. Me and two other friends went to the camping trip in Alberta, Canada. The drive up was normal. We got to the campsite, and oh yeah, one of my friends, who we will call Jeff, brought his girlfriend, who I will call Jane. So when we pulled up to our camp spot, we unloaded our gear, then we had lunch, then we went for a hike around 3 o'clock. We came back around 5:15. For about 4 hours, we sat around the campfire telling stupid stories and stuff. But this is when crap gets too real. We started to get the feeling we were being watched. We were being watched, which is weird because who was what? Okay, whatever. Who else was around? I'm thinking they were trying to say, but us, for about a kilometer. So we thought it just might be a fellow camper. So I yelled out, "Hey!" No response. So we just ignored it. Later that night, I woke up to the sound of snapping twigs. I looked out of the tent curiously. What I saw was a creature about 20 meters away from the tent. It was about 8 feet tall, with nut brown hair. I've never heard nut brown. Yeah, okay. What color nut? I don't know. And that's all I could see in the moonlight, so nut brown. Oh boy, okay. And that's all I could see in the moonlight, so I woke up my friend, and he went pale. He slowly closed the tent zipper and looked at me and said, "It's right outside." I told him that's impossible because it was just 20 meters away. And that's the end. That's the end. Okay. What happened? Did Bigfoot eat you? Was it a Bigfoot? Did it have a face? Was it a bear walking with nut brown colored fur? Okay. That's funny. Okay. Well, I have to thank you guys for listening to UFO Headline News with me, Heidi Hollis. Be sure to check out UFOheadlinenews.com every single day, and also tune into my other 2 weekly shows, The Outlander on Fridays and The Kevin Cook Show on Tuesdays. Both shows are at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And check out my paranormal comic strip I do here on Inception Radio Network at theoutlanderscomic.com. Direct links to everything can be found at HeidiHollis.com or InceptionRadioNetwork.com. Remember, if you've experienced something out of the ordinary and want some level-headed advice, or if you've seen a UFO and want to share, be sure to write me at my main website or at UHN@InceptionRadioNetwork.com. Remember always to keep an open mind so you can stay informed and inspired.